your body fat. Okay, this is a rule of thumb, guys. But there's no question here. Like anaerobic training, use carbohydrates. That's just a science. That's fact. That's not Tom's way. That is a scientific fact that carbohydrates are required for muscle building. Okay, that's the fuel source that you need. And if you don't have these, by the way, which this is what low carbohydrate people say, is that well, your protein, you're gonna get your body can create glucose from an amino acid called alanine, which is in the liver, and then it can make glucose, which is fine, and that's true. Because again, I don't want to overwhelm you too much, so I hope you're staying with me. Your body can make that, but this is the preferred energy source. And it is true, I will admit that carbohydrates are not necessarily required for the human diet. You can survive without them. Okay, that's what they will tell you. You've probably heard that before. People who are like doing the keto or doing the low or no carbohydrate diet, is that they say, well, the carbohydrates are not required for the human physiology. True, it's very true. Just because they're not required, though, doesn't mean that they're going to be handy to have, especially if you want to put on muscle. You try to put on some muscle without any carbohydrates and see how long you last. I mean, people, again, I will take that back because I do know some people actually who are pretty good with that and they will gain some good results off that. Again, if it works for you, it works for you. So some people are going to have to tap into more, say, they're super responders to carbohydrates, let's say, and they're like insulin sensitivity and stuff. It goes into all that kind of science, but you just got to monitor your level. Some people can respond great off, say, 150 to 200 grams. Some people respond better at 50 grams, the lower end, but some is still going to be good no matter what. Okay, but I can talk on the topic of what's best for that later on. But I just wanted to do the basics for you here. So the calories are in the form of these three things. You're burning them all simultaneously. You're tapping into all of them at the same time, pretty much, give or take. This is required for anaerobic training because of the lack of oxygen. That's required for muscle building activities or weight training, shall we say. And the more slower paced kind of stuff, like going on walks and stuff that's not required, that doesn't have that intensity to it, will tap into your body fat. Okay, which is stored energy, which is calories, by the way. So your body, that's what body fat is. It's stored energy. So in like a bad environment, your body wants to preserve that level of body fat to go, okay, look, if we ever get into an extreme situation, we know we've got those reserves there. That's what body fat is. Okay, like I say, it's stored energy, it's stored calories. Little fact for you as well. That's why females will find it very the stubborn areas around the hips area. You'll find that a lot. They really struggle, and I can tell you why. The reason for that is because the next time someone asks you, know this. The reason that is because the female physiology or biochemistry of a female, obviously they're always prepping themselves for being pregnant. They're always allowing for that just because human nature, unfortunately. I'm sorry to say that. I wish you didn't have to deal with that, females. But the human physiology, specifically in females, likes to hold on to that in the presence of a baby coming at any time. It wants to, it recognizes that, like, okay, I could have a baby. So what it does, it stores the energy. Because the female anatomy understands that it takes around 80,000 calories. That's how much it takes to have a baby, 80,000 calories. So with that knowledge, the body knows this, so it stores it there. That's why, and it obviously wants to store it here because that's where the baby's going to be present the most, around this area and here, around the hips. That's where the presence is going to be. It's like, okay, if I'm going to have a baby, he's going to come on board, I'm going to need to protect this area. So there you go. Yeah, so the female body requires 80,000 calories to have a baby. So, and there's other key components to it, but that's the basis of it, you know. So if you're female, you can now tell that, and then you can understand why, you know, they will lose some weight, and then to a point where it's like, I just can't lose, it's stubborn. That's why. If you just keep doing what you're doing and keep adapting to your training and like lifestyle, that will eventually drop off. You know, you can use certain tools and stuff like that that's going to help you to get to where you want to be. Okay, so either way, if you're training and moving, you're doing amazing. Okay, don't be so harsh on yourself. You know, okay, give yourself that time. Be patient with yourself. Okay, so there's the calorie stuff covered. Okay, and I spoke about the trigger for muscle building. And I'll give you a little bit of an outline of a good routine that you can do to stick to that's super basic, that can be adjusted when required. You know, if you want to adjust certain things, you can do that. You don't have to stick to any sort of my sort of plan if you didn't want to. So let's talk a little bit about like weight loss. Okay, some of the myths. Let's just break through some of them. Okay, so I've tapped on a little bit of muscle building there. Let's do a little bit of weight loss now, or fat loss, let's say. Okay, so the idea again, like I mentioned before,